Welcome back to an instant reaction edition of the Net Report podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again is my co-host, Richie Schneiderite. Richie, Steve Pikiell filled a huge hole today for the 2023-2024 basketball program. He added former Marist and Hartford and FIU guard Austin Williams, who has had two really good seasons at Hartford. He averaged 14 a game in 2020-2021. He averaged 16 a game in 2021-22. He was named first team All AEC in 21-22. He was named conference tournament player MVP in 2021 when Hartford made the NCAA tournament. A lot to talk about on this guy, but talk about how this commitment came together.
Yeah, so they've been searching a portal for a guard for quite some time. They were reaching out to a couple guys. I know there was rumors about Jeremiah Williams, who no relation obviously, but at Iowa State, he was telling people he was going to come on a visit but never scheduled a visit, so that was a weird situation. He was hearing from a bunch of guys. Ithiel Horton, who visited Texas and Kansas recently, it was reported, or I don't even know if we reported it, to be honest, because it just was null and void after Austin Williams visited. But he was supposed to be on an official visit as well, and then Austin Williams does sneak on the campus without anyone knowing, and then TKR broke the news. So, we found out the news and we posted it, I want to say, 3 weeks ago? I don't even remember what day it was. But, he ended up committing on the visit, technically, from what we were told. He had some stuff to finish up in the classroom. He had a summer class he had to finish, and that's kind of what we were just waiting on, and here we are. He is now committed. So this is just a really good get for Rutgers. I think you found your starting two guard, in my opinion. He's going to complement Fernandes pretty well, I think, because he doesn't really have an outside shot, whereas Fernandes does. He's kind of just driving to the rim for the most part, and he's a good finisher, good little crossover move, solid dribbler. Has some vision too, because he does kick to the big man a couple of times in this lone highlight tape that I found, because there's not much out there on him. I think it's like a minute and a half long. But good scorer. He looks like he could finish at the rim, like I said, and I think this is just an overall good get for Rutgers, considering where we're at in July.
Yeah, and I think the only reason he's still in the portal is that he's got this knee injury that he was, he transferred to FIU. And let's talk about, before we talk about his injury, typically when you have a guy who's in his seventh year going on his fourth school, that's kind of major red flag territory. But I kind of want to debunk that a bit, because he gets recruited to Marist by, what's his name? Maker.
I forget. I don't know.
Anyway, he gets recruited to Marist. His coach gets let go after his freshman year. They bring in a new coach, John Dunn, and it just, when a coaching change happens, they want their guys. He only started 3 games his first 2 years at Marist. He transfers to Hartford. He, blows up as a player, becomes one of their leading scorers. Hartford then decides to get rid of basketball at the Division I level. So he decides to transfer to FIU. FIU, he gets hurt, and then he decides to leave there as well.
Mike Maker, ironically.
Mike Maker, okay.
I don't know how you forgot that.
I didn't want to assume that he just had the coolest first name in the world, but I guess he does. He sounds like not a bad guy.
Teach him.
So he leaves FIU after not playing due to a knee injury. It sounded like he had knee surgery in the off season before last season for FIU. He ends up not playing. He's originally from Seton Hall Prep, so he's a New Jersey guy. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. It's not, like I said, it's not a traditional guy bouncing around. It's not like a Willie Tyler type where he's just kind of like not happy everywhere he goes.
5.
Yeah. Austin Williams, he made a huge impact at Hartford. To talk about, I guess, what he brings as a player, because it's, we added Noah Fernandes, who has a very specific style of play. He's, very ball dominant. He's got a great outside shot. Austin Williams is a much different player than Noah Fernandes.
Yeah, Austin Williams is a guy who's going to get it at like the wing, top of the wing, and then basically pull a dribble move and cut right to the rim. I think you'll even see him cutting when he doesn't have the ball, off ball in his hands. And I can't talk. I think he's still going to cut to the rim perfectly. And when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's just a good finisher at that rim. He doesn't really get too high. He's not crazy athletic or anything like that. So I don't want to say he's the complete opposite of Derek Simpson, but like they're different too. Derek's a lot more athletic. Might be the most athletic on the team actually. But this kid just does a quick dribble move and then gets right to the rim. Good, like I said before, good finisher. On the left and right side, he's shown he can do both in this little tape I've seen, and he can score. Like it's not like he can hit the three occasionally. He's not going to hit them consistently, in my opinion, because his shot does seem like it starts out really low, and that's obviously not going to work when you're being contested. But he has hit him in the past. Like there's been games where he goes 4 of 6, 3 of 4. I'm looking at, and then he goes 1 of 8, 1 of 4, 1 of 5, and it's like, all right, hit or miss on the 3 ball, but he can hit the 3 ball if he's open, which is nice. Also, he's a really good rebounder. He's had games where he's had 13 rebounds, 10 rebounds, 15 rebounds even. Most notably, I would say the game against Baylor in the NCAA tournament when, mind you, they lost, but when they took on Hartford and the year that Baylor won it all. He put up, I'm looking right now, where is it? Put up 19.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Like, that's for a Hartford kid against the national champion, future national champions at that point, in Baylor is significant. Played 39 minutes. Like, almost played the whole game at that point. 7 of 14, 5 of 8, or 2 of 6 from 3. So that goes back to what I was saying before when he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he doesn't need to be. And on top of it, he's a really good defender as well. He's had games where he's had 5 steals before. Like, he's a really solid defender. And I know people are going to knock on his competition because it's Marist, it's Hartford. I don't count FIU because he technically didn't play there. But yeah, there's a knock on his competition. But again, I said this before. Quasi Yaboa made the jump from the AEC to the Big Ten, no problem whatsoever. Mind you, different player completely. I think basketball is a lot easier to transition from the lower levels to the higher levels, hence why you're seeing all these lower level guys going up to high major and being very successful. FDU is my favorite example because they plucked D2 guys and made a tournament run with them. D2 guys, D2 coach, and made a significant, that's significant, yeah. And it made not dominated, but they made like Purdue look bad.
Yeah.
So let's just be honest here. Like, it's not that crazy to pick up a guy like this. So mind you, as long as he's healthy, I think this is a great addition. I think he's your starting 2 guard. You're not being a 7th-year guy coming in, averaging what he averages last season when healthy, 16 points per game and 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 50% field goal percentage. Like, he's not coming in to be a backup. I know everyone wanted, like, Derek Simpson was talking about Derek Simpson as a starting 2 guard. No, but I think Derek's role off the bench as the first guard off the bench, he's going to play significant minutes regardless. People are going to judge it because they're like, he's not a starter. He's going to be pissed off. No, it doesn't matter. He's still going to play a shit ton of minutes. Like, he'll be perfectly fine. And he brings a totally different game to the court. So that's the other thing. I think that it's probably, if I'm just guessing right now, it's Fernandez, Williams, Griffiths, and then Mag when he comes back, and then Cliff. And then you got your bench of Hyatt, who's a veteran at this point. You have a bench of Derek Simpson, who's stepped up a lot late last season. Antoine Woolfolk, Emmanuel Ogbo are going to compete for that backup 5 role. And one of them is going to get 5 to 10 minutes a game, or maybe they both get 5. I don't see much more than that because I think Cliff's on the court for at least 30 plus again because you kind of need him. We'll wait and see what happens. But this is a great get for Rutgers considering where you're at in the year, in the offseason. And 7th-year guy, played at a lower level, but he's a really good scorer at the rim, and I think he'll be perfectly fine in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and if you just kind of look at his peripheral numbers, like he shot about in his 2 seasons at Hartford. I'm going to throw out his Marist stats because they're kind of insignificant. So his 2 seasons at Hartford, he shot about 32% from 3 on about 3 attempts a game. He shot 65% from the line, which isn't great. Neither of those numbers are great, but they're not atrocious either. They would still be right up there with some of the top players from Rutgers last year. And then if you kind of dive even deeper, if you look at his postseason run in 2021 and 2021 in terms of the 4 conference tournament games and the NCAA tournament game, he averaged 21 points a game, 8 rebounds a game. He shot 81% from the line. He shot 63% from the field. He shot 50% from 3 on pretty decent volume, about 4 attempts a game. And these are all including, in the second round, they were playing Albany, and he got into foul trouble. So he only played 20 minutes in that game. So he only scored 11 points and had 1 rebound. So even including that, he averaged 21 and 8. This is a guy who really rose to the occasion in the postseason, and he has NCAA tournament experience. Not many transfer portal guys, you could say, have been in the tournament. We have a few guys now. It's tough to believe that even though we made 2 straight tournaments, we don't have many guys on the team anymore that actually played in the tournament. We have Hyatt, we have Cliff, we have now Fernandez hasn't, but Austin Williams has. So these are the kind of guys you need who, in tough moments, are going to rise to the occasion. He's a 7th-year player, so he's got a ton of experience. He's seen a lot. He's been in a lot of venues. He's going to be able to really impart a lot of basketball knowledge on our younger guys, which we need. We need veteran presence because we lost a lot of veterans in the offseason.
Yeah. What was his 3-point percentage again?
In his 5 postseason games, so including conference tournament, he shot 10 of 20 from 3. So he shot 50% from 3 in those 5 tournament games.
I mean, mind you, like, it's not like this is a deep ball team either. Like, he's going to be in the higher range because you lost Cam, you lost Mulcahy. Those were your top 2, which Mulcahy at 37% as a top 2 is not great. Palmquist, which I guess you count technically, at 36%. And then it's a significant drop. It's 30% for Hyatt, 30% for Mag, 21% for Derek. Like, he's still going to be near the top for 3-point percentage, it seems like. But I think this is a great addition, like I said before. And you mentioned it. There's not a lot of tournament experience on this team, so that's very helpful for a team that wants to make the tournament again after getting kind of screwed twice.
Yep.
So,
the last thing I have, so this puts us at 11 scholarships for this next season.
Yes.
How do you see? And you've already talked about how you think he keeps 1 open. So how do you think they fill that last scholarship?
I think you probably have to go with a forward. Now, you need a forward type that's not going to step in front of Mag, because once Mag's back, he's the starting 4, in my opinion. This is where it gets tricky. So Griffiths considers himself to be a guard. So, I mean, it's positionless basketball. So, I mean, you could tell him he's the 2, and you could tell Williams he's the wing. Doesn't really matter at that point. Honestly, that might be the better scenario now that I think about it, because Williams has better defensive skills, in my opinion, than Griffiths, and Griffiths is going to be a freshman, so it's a little tough to say, hey, go guard their best scorer. So I'm going to put Williams on him instead. So maybe it is Fernandez, Griffiths, and Williams, but I think it's some combo of those 3. And then you got to get a 4. Now, I don't know who that 4 is going to be. One name I keep liking to mention is Samba Diallo out of where the hell is he from?
UMass.
Yes, UMass. He's played with Fernandez in the past. I think he's actually out of Manhattan previously, or this past season was Manhattan. Senegal native, Pope John High School alum, so he's a Jersey guy. He's 6'7", 195. He's not great build, but he's similar to Mag. And then on top of that, Mag also wants to play the 3, from what we've been told. Yep. Now, again, positionless basketball. I'm putting Mag on probably their 4 because their 4 is going to have a similar build on defense. Offense, you're going to move around, so it doesn't really matter regardless. Like I said, it doesn't matter where you're sitting, but whatever you're slotted at technically. But I do think that he's a kid I would probably keep a close eye on. He doesn't do anything crazy. Played all 30 games last year for Manhattan, averaged 6'5", and 1.2 steals per game. So he's kind of similar build and similar player to Mag, at like a little bit of a lower level. So I would probably keep a close eye on that one. I would personally, I'm going after a 4. I haven't heard anything of what they want to get. Maybe they go after another guard, because why not? I mean, or like a wing type.
Yeah.
So you don't have to thrust Griffiths like right into that role. Or maybe Williams comes off the bench, but I just can't see Williams coming off the bench as a 7th-year guy. So I don't know. I don't really know what you do. So I think you probably go with a 3-4 type, someone that can play next to Mag if need be in the future, and just fill in Mag's role while he's missing for probably till December, to be honest with you. So at the very earliest, I would say he's back on the court for Rutgers in December. In terms of practicing, I don't think he'll probably practice till mid to late November at the minimum. And that's talking like we're on time for his injury update, which nowadays I would say with today's medicine and everything, it's almost impossible not to be on time, but we'll see. His rehab's going pretty well from what I've been told.
Yeah, that's great to hear because Mag will certainly be a key piece in any postseason run Rutgers makes this year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all I got. This is a big commitment for Rutgers next year. Will be probably one of the top 3 scorers on the team, if I had to guess, and also be a huge veteran presence. So great job by Pike getting a guy like him in this late, because if you look at the portal and who's available, it's pretty slim pickings at this point, and that's why a guy like Paul Mulcahy can get $400,000, and that's why a guy like Cam Spencer can get several $100,000. Like when you're at this point and you realize, oh shit, we're not as good as we thought we are. We need this, we need that, or we struck out earlier in the portal. Yeah, these guys become even more valuable. So great job by Pike. That's all I got. No. Do you have anything else you wanted to hit on?
That's pretty much it. Like you said, great addition. You said top 3 scorer, and I'm kind of sticking to that too. And that's why he's a starter. So just get it out of your head. Get it all out of your head. I know everyone loves Derek, thinks he's going to be great, but his shooting percentages weren't phenomenal last year. He did struggle at times late, so let's just relax a bit. He's still going to play a lot of minutes. He's a good player, but this kid is your starting guard/wing, depending on Griffith's role, I guess.
Yep. I agree. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening. It's been another edition of the Nerd Report podcast. Signing off.